Inspiring change, overcoming resistance. The call for transformation echoes globally, driven by passionate voices demanding justice, equity, and sustainability. Yet, meaningful change remains elusive amid entrenched systems, complacency, and deliberate obfuscation. This article explores pathways to inspire action despite adversity. Social change is rarely linear. It demands resilience, strategic vision, and the ability to turn frustration into constructive energy. Whether challenging systemic oppression, fighting climate denial, or advocating for human rights, activating collective power is a skill worth mastering. The anatomy of resistance. Understanding what stands in your way. Resistance manifests in many forms: outright hostility, bureaucratic inertia, or psychological barriers rooted in comfort zones. To dismantle it, we must first decode its origins. Fear, misinformation, and power imbalances are recurring culprits behind opposition to progress. Historically, marginalized communities have faced resistance when pushing back against inequity. Corporate interests may lobby against labor reforms, political elites may suppress dissent, and cultural norms may perpetuate prejudice, all serving to maintain the status quo. Fear of loss. Many resist change because they believe it threatens stability, security, or identity. Addressing these fears with empathy can open doors to dialogue. Cognitive dissonance. When facts contradict deeply held beliefs, people often reject evidence rather than reevaluate their worldview. Countering this requires reframing arguments to align with core values. Status quo bias. Systems benefiting the powerful rarely evolve voluntarily. Identifying champions willing to advocate for reform becomes critical. Bridging divides. Building coalitions beyond ideological lines. Sustainable change hinges on uniting disparate groups sharing a common goal. While differences in strategy, philosophy, or background exist, solidarity arises when people recognize overlapping struggles, whether environmental degradation affects low-income neighborhoods or healthcare access shapes racial disparities. Data analytics and precision campaigning. Modern activism increasingly depends on data analytics to target messaging effectively. Analyzing trends reveals patterns. Which demographics engage most? Where do misinformation hotspots lie? How can resources be allocated efficiently? Consider climate campaigns utilizing geographic heat maps to identify areas with highest air pollution levels. Tailored outreach increases chances of conversion from skepticism to action. Maintaining momentum. Sustaining energy during long struggles. Rapid wins fuel optimism, but lasting change takes time. Burnout looms for activists battling chronic fatigue, demoralizing setbacks, and isolation. Cultivating self-care practices, not merely sacrificing health for cause, is vital to longevity. Establish milestones and acknowledge incremental gains. Replacing the mindset of waiting for total victory with appreciation for partial successes builds resilient spirit. Celebrate victories like policy amendments, increased awareness, or corporate pledges, even before full-scale triumph. Community circles. Regular gatherings provide mutual support, reducing feelings of solitary struggle. Rotational leadership. Distribute responsibilities among members to avoid exhaustion. Concentrating on single individuals. Tangible rewards. Small incentives like thank you notes, commemorative badges, or time off reinforce dedication. Personal accountability. Leading by example in daily life. Social change begins locally, with choices made at home, work, and play. Choosing ethical consumption, voting thoughtfully, and engaging respectfully in public debate ripple outward. Personal ethics become catalysts for broader transformation. Purposeful living involves examining privilege and acting accordingly. Affluent allies should amplify underrepresented voices instead of dominating conversations. Everyone possesses capacity to contribute, whether through direct action or allyship. Microactions, subtle shifts with cumulative impact. A single person's behavior holds significance. Opting for plant-based meals reduces demand for industrial agriculture, while volunteering at shelters supports immediate relief efforts. Accumulated microactions create seismic shifts over time. These gestures normalize progressive ideals, making them mainstream rather than radical. Children learn habits watching adults. If sustainability, inclusivity, and integrity are modeled consistently, societal norms gradually shift. Educating ourselves. Continuous learning as a weapon against ignorance. Combating misinformation requires ongoing education about history, current events, scientific consensus, and intersectional identities. Informed citizens challenge false narratives with evidence-backed arguments. Curate reliable sources, follow peer-reviewed journals, reputable news outlets, and verified experts in relevant fields. Engage critically with media, questioning motives behind headlines and sourcing claims rigorously. Historical context. Understanding past injustices clarifies present-day inequalities, illuminating why certain communities continue facing disproportionate harm. Scientific literacy. Climate science, medical research, and sociopolitical studies equip advocates to counter ignorance systematically. Cultural sensitivity. Learning about diverse traditions fosters respect and prevents misrepresentation of minority groups. Reimagining success. Defining progress without reliance on traditional metrics. Traditional indicators like GDP growth or election results often overlook intangible victories, increased civic engagement, stronger community bonds, reduced stigma surrounding mental health. Measuring qualitative improvement is equally important. Achievements manifest in unexpected ways. Someone once voiceless now speaking out, neighbors collaborating on urban gardens, or companies voluntarily adjusting harmful business models. Recognizing these subtle transformations sustains belief in eventual broader change. Embracing hope. Fueling passion without falling prey to optimism bias. Hope is the compass guiding tireless activism, but unchecked optimism can lead to naivety when confronted with harsh realities. Balance hope with preparedness for obstacles ahead. Realism doesn't diminish passion, it sharpens resolve. Remember, progress often moves forward 3 steps then stumbles back 2. Enduring setbacks without losing sight of purpose defines enduring changemaker spirits. History shows that perseverance trumps transient enthusiasm every time. Action steps. From awareness to engagement. Education is essential, but knowledge alone does nothing unless acted upon. Begin implementing changes today. Start small but commit wholeheartedly. Research your state's ballot measures, participate in local town halls, join neighborhood cleanups, or write letters to representatives. Every involvement counts toward constructing new paradigms collectively. Stay connected with activist networks digitally and physically. Find mentors, ments, and fellow travelers navigating similar journeys. Shared purpose creates unbreakable bonds capable of moving mountains. Ultimately, remembering why you embarked on this path keeps motivation alive when fatigue sets in. Revitalizing dreams regularly refocuses energy on meaningful objectives, reinforcing that impactful change originates from dedicated individuals striving for better worlds.